Say you want to animate a character looking up, down, or any other direction. It can be confusing sometimes to know where each line should move in order to make this look believable. Luckily, there are some guidelines you can follow that make this a lot easier, and you can apply this to any type of character or creature, be it human, animal, or anything else. Let's start with looking up and down from a front view. For this, you should actually think about how this character's head looks in a side profile. Cut this in half with a vertical line. On a human, this separation will usually go just in front of the ear. Think of these two halves as like the sides of a seesaw. When one side goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So, when the front half of the head, say, goes down, the back of the head will go up. On characters with a very off-center neck, like this dog, the dividing line won't cut the head so near 50-50, since the neck is the pivoting point, the base of the seesaw. For most characters, though, it will be about at the center of the head, like the first example. Taking it back to the front view, let's make this character look down first. The facial features and bangs are in the front half, so all of those lines will go down. In the back half is the ears and the rest of the hair, so those lines will go up. Because of this, you get the effect of hair appearing to get a bit shorter when a person looks down, since all of the hair behind the ears is raised up. At this point, you're probably getting it, but for this character to look up, the new facial feature lines will go above, and the ears and farther back hair will sink down. You get the same effect of the hair in the back seeming to change length, but this time it's looking a bit longer. Do be careful not to make the distance that the lines travel too extreme though. You might think that this will make your character look farther up or farther down, but instead their proportions will start to look very off. Instead of all your lines traveling the same distance, it actually changes based on where a line is on the head. Look at this sphere being turned upward. The center line ends up traveling a decent ways, but the line near the top doesn't get nearly as far before it disappears from view. When you're animating an upward or downward head turn or angle change, picture these lines wrapping around the character's head, which will remind you that when their head is tilting up or down, the closer features are to the top or bottom, the less distance they will travel between frames. If you find this confusing, or just don't trust yourself to get this right, luckily there's an easy workaround. Just try taking your side profile and rotating the character's head to where you want them to be looking. Then you can use this as a reference and draw all of the features level to the features on the side profile. This trick also handles foreshortening for you. You can see that the space above this cat's nose gets foreshortened as it looks up. Here's both angles of the previous example, side by side and filled in. There is a pretty big change in the shape of the facial features themselves at these different angles, but I have a different video on that topic, so I won't go over that here. Instead, you could just watch that after this. If the side view of the character is where you're stuck and I lost you back there, try drawing the side view directly on top of the front view. Never just estimate where everything should go. That way you can be sure that all of the features are level with the original front view. So long as you make sure everything lines up, it's hard to go wrong, and it should look like the same character at a new perspective. After you've got that down, you can drag the side view out to wherever it needs to be. A really common mistake with side views is making them too narrow. Keep in mind that skulls are wider at a side view than they are at the front, so a head being this vertically squished doesn't make much sense. It depends on the character or creature, of course, but for most, you are best off making the side view at least as wide as the front. Well, being able to animate a character looking directly up, down, and to the side is a great start. You'll still often need more specific angles than that. Do your best to remember and combine these guidelines. You can get many more angles from your basic angles by drawing between them, but for especially tricky angles, it really helps to break up your character into simple geometric shapes. These shapes are a lot easier to understand in 3D than organic ones, so drawing them at different angles is much more manageable. You can fully animate this base, or I would recommend just doing this for your keyframes. With this done first, drawing the actual character on top shouldn't be too difficult, and your animation will have a nice three-dimensional feel to it. Here's my video on how to draw facial features at different angles, which, like I said, is a good add-on to this video. Thanks for watching!